What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. It's going to be a quick one. I got to head out or pop off, should I say, at 9 o'clock. And I am actually watching West Indies as we speak. We are playing Australia in the first ODI, One Day International. I mean, it's not going great. It's going all right. Going all right. The 70, 80 for one or 50. We need a couple more wickets. Maybe slow the run rate down a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see. So long enough series. But today we're talking about Paul Pogba. And obviously the news came out today suggesting that, well, there was news in France suggesting that PSG had come to, well, they're interested. And there was some kind of agreement, at least between Mino Raiola and PSG for the sign of Paul Pogba. And I think the reality is it was during or just before the Euros, there was a lot of talk about whether or not Paul Pogba was going to join PSG. And there was, Kimpembe was there. I think there was someone else. I can't remember now. But Kimpembe was there talking about, have you spoken to, I think the president's name is Khalifi or something along those lines. And Pogba kind of just brushed it off like, no, I don't talk to him. Conversations have definitely happened between Paul Pogba's camp. I'm not saying Paul Pogba, that would actually be illegal for Paul Pogba to talk to PSG without Man United's position. But without a shadow of a doubt, conversations have happened between Paul Pogba's camp, so Mino Raiola, and PSG about a possible transfer. The question is always, how much is it going to cost? Make sure you lot smash the like button before we go any further. Now, Fabrizio Romano confirmed earlier Paul Pogba is interested in joining PSG. It's an option for him. I don't think it's his first option, but it's an option this season. I think Real Madrid, a team like Real Madrid, possibly Barcelona, we know that that's no chance of happening right now. But a team like Real Madrid or Barcelona would definitely have been on his radar, joining Man United. Where do you go as the next step up? The next step up from Man United can only be Real Madrid and Barcelona. And I say step up very loosely because the way Barcelona's going right now, that could potentially be a step down. But so just looking at the cricket, looks like there's a bit of a DRS review for a wicket. We might have a wicket now. But yeah, I think there's interest definitely from Pogba to join PSG, returning to Paris, or returning to France, should I say anyway. He's from Paris, isn't he? I think he is. I think he's from Paris. But returning to France anyway is always an option. And the team that they're building, especially this summer, now we know PSG's always had the money. They've never been shy in spending that money. This year, actually, forget what they've bought already. They've got Neymar, they've got Mbappe. We don't know how long that's going to remain because, of course, Real Madrid could be coming in for him at any moment. But it's got Neymar, got Mbappe, got Di Maria, fresh off winning the Champions League, the Copa America, should I say, scoring the winning goal in the final. Marquinhos, Kimpembe, both full internationals. Kimpembe, obviously France, Marquinhos for Brazil. Verratti, fresh off winning the Euros. They have got a top quality team. And they've added to that, getting to a Champions League final, getting to a Champions League semi-final last year. They've added to that. They bought Hakimi from Inter Milan. They've got Donnarumma on a free. Wijnaldum on a free. They're looking to get Pogba as well. That's what you call a super team. At that point, you're like, damn, these guys are famous for the Champions League. They have got to win the Champions League without a shadow of a doubt. So does Paul Pogba want to join that project? And I say project, I use that term lightly, but loosely even, because that project should be complete. When you get Paul Pogba with the rest of that team, he is ready to win a treble. Pochettino, you got to win a treble if you get Paul Pogba. You got to win a treble. But from our point of view as Man United, do we want to let him go and for how much? Let me know in the comments what you would do with Paul Pogba this summer if you were Manchester United. And of course, I would say if you're PSG, would you sign Paul Pogba? I think you'd be hard pushed to find a team out there who wouldn't sign Paul Pogba given the opportunity. Charlie Hempenstall says, if you can get Cash and Rice and another CM in, then that's probably makes us stronger as a whole. Great player as he is, you can't pay him 425,000 a week. I'm afraid you just can't justify that. Let me know if anyone else agrees. Fair point. I'll respond to these in a bit. Devil's Avocado, big up Rachel in the chat. Make sure to head over to the first XI. I see when I see XI, I call it 11 because obviously it's Roman numerals. But a lot of people say XI. They'll be like, "What is your Man United XI going into the season?" I'm like, "You mean 11? It's 11. You know, it's a number, right?" Yeah. But make sure you head over at 9 o'clock. It's a Man United show. Grounded United. That's it. Grounded United. So make sure you head over to that. If he doesn't want to be at the club, then he should leave. I've always had that feeling towards any player. I mean, David Ayer was still over a contract a few years ago, and I was like, if you don't want to be here, go. Simple as. It's as simple as. Sammy says Pogba and Potts plan to end Parisian pain in the UCL. It's a lot of P's there, a lot of alliteration there from Sammy. Perez out. MN says Lebil needs a Champions League and maybe PSG is the destination. And I think, of course, him going anywhere and winning the Champions League is a big achievement. But you have the same energy that I have for Kane, or I had, should I say, on the brink of Man City possibly winning the Champions League and of course the Premier League as well. Who does Kane join? Man City or Chelsea or Man United? Now he don't care what I think, but I would have respected him more if he was to join a Chelsea or Man United and go and win them a trophy they haven't won, or recently anyway, a Premier League or a Champions League, whether it be Man United or Chelsea. In the thought process that Man City will win the Premier League and possibly the Champions League. If he goes and joins that team, it's like, oh, we're done already. PSG need that Champions League. They've been needing that Champions League. If Pogba can go there and win it, and as good as the whole team is in terms of individuals, it's still a great achievement for him and the team and the manager to go and win their first Champions League, regardless of whether they're favourites for it or not, because we know the favourites don't always win the Champions League. So that alone might drive him. If he's someone who is motivated by, not a step into the unknown, but also breaking certain barriers or boundaries, then a move to PSG could be very, very interesting for him. Shane says, I would like to see Pogba stay, however, not at the expense of him getting 400,000 a week. However, I think Pogba wants Real Madrid next season. And I think the Real Madrid factor may play into his future this summer in terms of what he wants to do and what he ends up doing. Sammy says, PSG are angry they didn't even win that Sunday league. MN says, Di Maria is older and PSG are missing a striker. Icardi? Where's Moise Ken? Is he... Are they trying to get him back? Maybe they're trying to get him back. I think PSG needs... Shane says, I think PSG need to sell a few, to be honest. They have a lot of midfielders. Where they got Idrissa Gueye, and Herrera. Is it Danilo? Have they got Danilo who plays in the midfield, or does their Danilo play centre back, or is it the same guy? And Shane says, Neeks, if Pogba signs a new contract, do you think that means he's definitely committed to staying long term? I don't think so. I think if Pogba signs a new contract, whether his heart is in it or not, he is committed to staying long term because he has put pen to paper on a contract that basically gives control of his future to Man United. So, yeah, he might hand in a transfer request a year after. He might make noise in the media and say he wants to go, but he's handed that power over to Manchester United, and willingly so, which means that one way or another, whether it be his heart or just in actuality, he's committed himself to Man United. Now, Pogba's performances have never dropped whenever transfer speculation does surround him. So if he's here against his will or whatever, like he has been for probably 2 years now, I still expect him to put in good performances because he's been putting in good performances. And people say, "Oh, is he really worth that kind of money, etc." Well, since Pogba returned, and of course, a lot of players have gone in that time he's been here. 28 goals, which is the third highest of any Man United player in the time since Pogba's returned. 29 assists, the most assists for any player since Pogba's return. The most dribbles, 278. The most key passes, 207. Third most big chances created. First most accurate through balls. Pogba has been a good signing for Man United. The real issue is that we haven't built the team. And it's not even about building the team around him. I'm not going to give that. But it's about building a team that is good enough to meet his ability. And when I say meet his ability, he's a World Cup winner. He is a Champions League finalist. Is it a two-time Champions League finalist? 2015 and 2017? Two times Champions League finalist. No, sorry, he wasn't there in 2017. He won the Europa League with us. So he's a Champions League finalist one time. He's a multiple league winner. He's a World Cup winner. He's a Euro finalist with France. He is a winner. He's won the Europa League with us and the League Cup. He's won trophies across his career. We haven't built a team that is capable of winning over and over again. That's the crime. It's not about building a team around Paul Pogba. That absolves him from the whole collective. The issue is that we haven't built a team that's good enough to win. That's the bottom line. Whether it's around Paul Pogba, whether it's around Juan Mata, whether it's around Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Lukaku, etc., the team from back to front, from 11 to 15 to 25, have not been good enough to win. And that is the worst part. Akil P says, will you sell Pogba to buy Saul? Offers better balance in the midfield and Pogba won't have to run his contract down. It's an option. It's an option. I'll give my view in a second. Adaj Free says, Woodward, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt. What do you say? Go down, Minnow, way down in Manchester. Tell old Woodward, let my Pogba go. That's the best you're going to get from me. MN says, I think Real Madrid will be more lucrative to Pogba with Zidane as coach. Of course, if he was there. Maybe Man United can get Zidane next year. You never know. If he leaves, I see him joining PSG over Real Madrid at the moment, specifically with the reinforcements PSG have done. What channel? No, I'm not going on another channel after. I'm saying to head over to First XI, First 11. They're going to be doing Grounded United. That's Indiana, Rachel, and maybe I think Danny, Devil, and the DLs might be over there as well. I'm not going to be over there. I have got some things on this afternoon, or this evening even. It's nearly 9 o'clock, as well as watching the West Indies. Where were we? Shane, Paul Pogba, Saul, and Bruno. That is the best trio in world football. Does that work? Does that work? Because Saul isn't a DM. Is he? No, he's not. He's surely he's more of a box to box. So if you're gonna have Pogba next to Saul, does that work? Does it work? You tell me. From what I've seen of Saul, I don't think that works. I think it's one or the other. But maybe he can do that job. Maybe he can do that job. I haven't seen him do it. I see him. Yeah, all Diego Simeone's teams work hard defensively, but not every player is a defensive midfielder. It's like even Thomas Partey. Yeah, he played in a defensive role for Atletico Madrid because that's just the way that they play. But is that his best attributes? Is that what they're gonna? Arsenal's gonna probably ask him to get forward a bit more. I know he doesn't score that many goals, but enable him to utilize his creative ability. I don't know if putting Saul next to Pogba works. Not in my book. David says the fact people rate KDB over Pogba proves Pogba should leave to fulfill his potential. I hear that, I don't want Paul Pogba to leave as Manchester United. I'll let you know exactly what I think we should do, but I don't want him to leave. But as I said, we haven't built a team that's capable of winning, which means that we're not getting the best out of Paul Pogba. Ooh, nearly got a wicket there. Not getting the best out of Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba is the most talented midfielder in world football. Facts. But we don't see it on a week after week after week in the way that we really should. And I'm not putting that solely down to Paul Pogba. I'm not absolving him of all the blame. But as you said, the fact that Kevin De Bruyne is better than Paul Pogba right now. It's not that people rate him higher. Well, some people do. But he's better than him right now because he's been put into a team that allows him to get the best out of himself. But his best is not better than Paul Pogba's best. We've seen that in the Euros. We've seen it at world level. So why have we not got a team that is capable of getting the best out of our best players? And it doesn't just stop at Paul Pogba. There's a lot of players who'd say, in a better team, they'll do better. It's not just about Paul Pogba. It's really not. Kaushik Ramji says he will go wherever he's offered the most money. Raiola is the agent. No, I think at 28, I think Pogba, of course, he wants a big contract. But I think at 28, he knows it's going to be his last big contract. And wherever he goes, he's going to get the money. So I don't think the money is the real issue here. It's about where can I go to maximize my winning potential at this stage of my career. That's what I believe. I believe Paul Pogba is driven to win. And if he sold a project by Man United that says he can stay, he should stay. We can say Raiola this, Raiola that, Raiola this, Raiola. In the end, Paul Pogba employs Mino Raiola. And ultimately, Paul Pogba makes a decision. So if he decides to go to PSG because they've given the best financial offer, that's on Paul Pogba. You can't put that on Raiola. Because Paul Pogba can say, no, I'm staying at Man United. Heck, I want to go to Burnley. Like, Paul Pogba is in control of his future. Yeah, a few people confirming that Sal isn't a DM. As I was saying, Northeast London, big up yourself. It's weeks, not leaks, but big up yourself nonetheless. Akil P. All the midfielders we are linked with our CMs, not dedicated DMs. Camavinga, Saul, Neves. Maybe that's how Ollie's going to play going forward. Maybe those players are coming in to replace Paul Pogba. Because if we're talking about putting them next to Paul Pogba, as someone said earlier, that's suicide. I think if you get any one of those players, you have to pair them with a Fred. Someone who has the defensive or certain defensive capabilities, attributes, the tackling, the intercepting, etc. But you pair them with someone who has the passing ability as well as defensively solid as well in that middle. Not necessarily an anchor man, but still with the necessary defensive characteristics to succeed in that position. So maybe we're being linked with those players because they're expecting Paul Pogba to leave. Nomad says Pogba and Neymar interested but not sold yet. Neymar has an ego. Does Paul Pogba have an ego? He's confident. I give him that. He's very confident. But I don't see why it can't work. Paul Pogba is more than happy to make the pass before the goal. But that being said, Neymar drops deep a lot. Neymar wants to be on the ball. So if we're talking about footballing wise, Neymar likes to drop deep, get on the ball. Is Pogba going to want that? Is Neymar going to want that? I don't know. I hear what you're saying if you're talking about on a footballing level. Toxic Punk says Pogba is still United's best player. As I said, he is the most talented midfielder in the world. By default, he's Man United's best player. By default, unless we get him around. Shane 10 says, I don't think Saul is a natural DM, however, I think he can play there based on the fact he has played under Simeone, one of the best defensive coaches, plus I think he has excellent defensive awareness. Yeah, I did mention that earlier. And big up Jay in the chat. Make sure you go and head over and subscribe to the Football Dugout. Last 5 minutes, my take on Pogba. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the bell notifications on if you haven't done so already. Big up One Rovers Vlogs in the chat as well. Paul Pogba is probably worth about 50 million in this market. And when I say worth 50 million, you are worth what somebody is willing to pay. And So you can set your own value on something. But if nobody's willing to pay that, that's not actually their value. That's your value for them, but it's not actually their value. If you go to the shop and you say, oh, that thing's £5, but nobody buys £5, it's not worth £5. It's really not. That's just the law of economics. People, I don't think I'm willing to pay much more than probably £50 million for Paul Pogba with 1 year left in his contract in this COVID market. As far as I'm concerned, but who cares what I think? As far as I'm concerned, Paul Pogba is a 60, 70 million pound player because he is the best midfielder, ability wise, in the world. In his prime, he's 28 years old. So you are buying someone who's going to be performing at their best for the next 5 years. If you get that for 50 million, 10 million pound a year, that's a bargain. That's an absolute bargain. So even with 1 year left on his contract, for me personally, if we don't get somewhere close to 70 million pound as a bid, for me, Paul Pogba stays. I would rather keep Paul Pogba and make a genuine push to win the Premier League and win the Champions League. And I'm not saying we're going to do both. I'm not saying we're going to do either. But make a genuine push for that to go and win those trophies for one more year under Paul Pogba, or with Paul Pogba, than to sell him for £50 million or even 50 million euros, which some reports are saying, and do what with it? Whoever we get for that money, that person alone ain't going to drive us to a title. You'll have to get that person with a 40 or 50 and still go and buy someone to complement. Because Saul and Fred aren't winning us a title. Saul and McTominay, Neves and Matic, they're not winning us a title. So you're going to have to go out and get 2 players to replace Paul Pogba. That's just a reality. Well, if you can go and get one and you keep Paul Pogba, surely your team's in a better position. If we go and get Varane now with Jadon Sancho, we get a defensive midfielder. We may not win the Premier League. We may not, but the team's ready. The team's ready to win it. There can be no excuses at that point. Now, financially, it doesn't make sense. And people say, you don't want the cloud hanging over every time he plays. Will he sign? Will he not sign? Will he not? As I said, he's put in performances regardless of all the transfer speculation. I mean, we heard about him being offered out to Manchester City days before the Manchester derby, and he scored 2 goals in the match-winning performance. It doesn't faze him. He's that good of a player mentally and ability-wise that I have no issue with Paul Pogba staying and seeing out his contract if it means we have a genuine chance of winning the Premier League. What's really worth more? Thank you very much, Jay, for the super chat, the contribution. And you lot can, of course, contribute if you want as well. The super chat there as well. All contributions, all donations are welcome. What's better? We get 50 million in our back pocket, and we don't even know who we're going to get with it. Camavinga don't necessarily. He's not desperate to leave France to join Man United. He's not. Declan Rice generally wants to join Chelsea. That's his first choice. Yeah, we could go and get them. We could, but they don't replace Paul Pogba. And 50 million in the bank ain't gonna win you a Premier League. So for me, unless we get a proper bill, I'm talking 70 million. Hazard had 1 year left in his contract, and Real Madrid bought him for, I think, a fee that could potentially rise to about 130 or so million, 140 million. Now, of course, Hazard had an excellent season the year before. Excellent season. I think they won the Europa League as well. He was excellent in that final. Pogba didn't have that. He had a good season, but he didn't have that. So I'm not saying going to go out and get 100 million. And, players that score and get score a lot of goals and get the final assist and that kind of stuff, that what Hazard was doing, they're always going to go for a bit more. But I still think we can get 70 million for him. I think we can get 70 million for him. And I'm willing, if no one's willing to put that money, what the hell, man? Keep him for a year. We won't be the first club that players are leaving on a free. Ramos is leaving, left this year to go to PSG. Varane's in his last year, of course. Like, it's just the way that the world is going now. There's less and less money in the game. Players know their value and what kind of contracts they can attract in this current market. They have the power. The players have the power. It is what it is. I would rather go into the season with Paul Pogba and have a genuine chance of winning the Premier League than go into the season without Paul Pogba, £50 million up, or a £50 million replacement up, and be that much further away than winning the Premier League. That's the way I see it. PSG, put up the money. If you really want this man, put up the money. Or we have to keep Paul Pogba. MN says Mbappe's got 1 year left in his contract as well, and that's correct. It's just the way that it's going right now. And my ultimate hope, and it's really a hope. It's not an expectation. I think by next season, hook or by crook, between now and next season, Paul Pogba won't be a Man United player. But my hope will be that Paul Pogba signs a new contract. If it must have a release clause in it, so be it. But Paul Pogba has a new contract. Speculation dies down. We go and get a defensive midfielder that gets the best out of Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Edison Cavani. Hopefully go and get Rafa Varane, and we can build a proper title-winning team and go on and push for the Premier League title. Thank you all for joining me this evening. A short stream today. All the comments and interactions have been brilliant. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel and turn the bell notification on. And I will see you lot very, very soon.